Now I'm in a podcast with the other two admins. Woohoo!
Hey.
The lesser spotted admins.
We're around.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
You're the ones that are hiding in the darkness in case TJ and Louise can't make it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Shifty Key Podcast. It's your boy and your host, Jim Servac, and today I am joined by...
Me, Vic, Mugsoftea. Hi.
And Tyler. Yay!
I was waving at the computer like an idiot.
Wow.
Hi, notice
Good job, team.
Notice me, senpai.
Senpai noticed me.
Senpai.
Oh, God. Louise is probably already not listening to this one.
He's just like, and I'm out. Goodbye.
He's not going to miss much.
I mean, he's going to miss E3 talk.
That's
Spoiler
true.
alert. Yeah. Spoiler alert to the audience. We're probably not going to get round to questions. This is just going to be E3 non-stop.
Yeah,
Woohoo.
For those of you who have actually cared to listen to the other podcasts that I have been desperately trying to get out this week, you've probably heard my voice a lot, and you're probably sick of it. But if you're not, guess what? You get to hear about it some more, and we're going to discuss the same things over. Hooray.
Woohoo!
And if you don't know what he's talking about, check the Night Shift channel that we're actually using now.
Hooray!
It has stuff
It's
on
up.
it. We have things! Woohoo! Right, yeah. You went through, like, how many different conferences in that?
I went through all of the major ones. So EA, Bethesda, Xbox, PC Gaming Show, Ubisoft, Sony, and the first Nintendo conference. They did Treehouse on 2 different days. So we did the first Treehouse day. Couldn't get anybody to do the second Treehouse day. I was not available at all in any form, and I couldn't find anybody else. And honestly, we didn't think Nintendo was going to announce anything on the second day.
Yeah, you would normally get the announcements, like, straight up. You're not going to hold on to it for the second day, hoping that people will turn up again.
Right. Well, we were, as it turned out, I think it was on the second day, they actually talked quite a bit about Pokemon Go, which was actually what I was most interested in hearing about from Nintendo.
Typical Nintendo. Mind
Yes.
you, I can't say typical Nintendo because every console and every company has the ace up their sleeve that's like, well, hey, here's Final Fantasy. That was PlayStation from last year, wasn't it? Where they just slammed everybody with the Final Fantasy 15 and 7 remake and everything. Christ.
And none have still come out yet.
Oh, I'm still waiting.
Here it is, and
That's
you
the new
don't
standard.
get it.
It's the new standard. Make these really premature announcements a year and be like, it'll be out next year. And then 3 years later, we're like, finally, No Man's Sky still hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is a huge endeavor, though.
It is.
I was just like, you really expect to get that out within the next year of you releasing it?
Yeah, it is a huge endeavor, but I mean, at this point, I've completely lost interest. I feel like No Man's Sky has completely shot its wad at this point.
Well, we'll see how its release goes, but I mean, I don't know much about it. I've missed the hype train as per usual.
It wasn't much of a ride.
Oh, okay. Fair.
Oh, I also heard, I only heard a little bit of this from the Xbox podcast that you put out, Jim, on the Night Shift thing. You prematurely said really early on that Xbox have won it this year. How come everybody I follow on Twitter have been going nuts about Sony? I missed it because it was at 2 a.m. in the UK for me. What the fuck did they do?
So, and I'm still working on that Sony podcast at the time of this recording, but hopefully you'll hear it before this one gets released. But to give you a little bit of a backstory then, Sony pretty much just did nothing but games, had a short break, taught about PlayStation VR, did more games, all of which would be supported by PlayStation VR and would have some sort of VR component. Hideo Kojima came out to the stage, said 2 sentences, and then they showed Death Stranding, which has Norman Reedus as the leading character, it looks like. And it was an interesting trailer, but it was no actual gameplay. It was just a cinematic teaser trailer thing. But I got to admit, I said, Microsoft won E3, and because I'm a Microsoft fan more than a Sony fan, I've never had a PlayStation, I'm still giving the edge to Microsoft just a little bit. However, Sony did a lot to swing me around to their point of view and like being excited about stuff that they announced. So I have a hard time saying whether one unilaterally just wiped out the other in terms of winning E3 this year.
That's cool. I mean,
I watched.
Oh, that I was just going to say, like, sometimes it's not so binary. Sometimes it's very easy to see which one dominated. But, yeah, I mean, it seems good. I can't really provide much of an opinion because I completely missed PlayStation's one.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that PlayStation has announced. I mean, God of War 4, they're moving out of Greece, and they're taking over to the Norse mythology. And Kratos has a son, so that's a very interesting concept. I never owned a PlayStation, however, I did play the first 3 God of War games on my friend's PlayStation, so I played through those games. I am a fan of Kratos in the God of War series, so that's interesting to me. Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be the game that's going to get me to buy a PlayStation.
Yes! I'm so excited!
Wow, Vic.
There is...
Mugsy approved.
Oh my god, I'm so pumped for this game.
There is, from everything I have seen about this game, there is zero wrong with it. I mean, nothing wrong with it.
It's like, it's gonna be, for me, it's gonna be next year's Uncharted 4. Because, like, I purchased a PS4 specifically to play Uncharted 4 and Last of Us. And then when I saw this, when I saw the trailer, I actually first saw the trailer on IG and Snapchat, and I was like, where has this been my entire life? I need it. How have I missed this? Because it's just such a cool concept. It's, oh my gosh, it's incredible. I really like it. I just hope it doesn't flop. I just hope it doesn't turn out to be terrible.
I don't think it will. Seeing what they showed this year, where we actually got to see some, like, real gameplay footage, and we got to see our heroine have a conversation with another character. I saw like the Mass Effect BioWare style like conversation ring, and I was like, oh my god, I was like sold, like absolutely fucking sold.
Yeah, and whoever is developing it, oh my god, they did another game that did really well, and I don't remember either the developer or the game they made.
Just know that
it's in good hands, though.
If you are a part of the team that are working on these games, you have found a way to Mugsy's heart.
Guerrilla Games is who's developing.
Yeah, Guerrilla Games. What was the other game they made, though?
Hang on, let me look.
I'm on a bed. I can't really move my mouse very fast.
I'm working on it. Hang on.
I'm gonna look too.
Has notes.
Pink Gorilla? What? I don't know what that is. All right, I'm getting word games.
I'm about to say, I'm glad that was a word game and not something else.
Yeah, I don't
Killzone, that's what they worked on.
Yeah.
Oh.
And from what I've heard, Killzone was a good game, so...
Yeah, I've always heard the same thing as well. I almost got a PlayStation 4 to play Killzone Shadowfall, because it was like one of those big release titles for the PlayStation 4. But I, after the reviews came out, they said it was really crappy, and I was like, oh, well, never mind.
Save yourself some money there, then.
Yeah, a few $100.
$60.
Yeah, I'm so...
500-ish. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, like, I'm so glad that last year when PlayStation announced Final Fantasy VII's remake that I didn't jump out and buy a PlayStation fucking immediately, because I still wouldn't have seen anything new. I know there's some PlayStation fans that might be sitting there going, yeah, but there's other good games. You don't understand. I would be getting the PlayStation just for Final Fantasy VII's remake. I do not care.
Right. Well, the other thing about it is it's come out since then that the Final Fantasy VII remake is only a timed exclusive for the PlayStation 4.
Yes.
And that it's going to come to Xbox, which, given the new Xbox Play Anywhere initiative, it's probably going to come to Windows as well.
Huh.
Oh my god. Don't tease me like this.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying I can wait on that and not buy a PlayStation 4 for Final Fantasy VII remake. Now, if I do get a PlayStation 4 for Zero Dawn, maybe maybe I give in. I'm not sure.
I would, you know what, honestly though, I would still, if you have the ability, I would still get the PlayStation. Because I actually find the PlayStation to be, I don't know, I find its interface to be a lot better than Microsoft's. And I feel like the graphics are a lot better on PlayStation, which is like weird for me to say because I've always been such like an Xbox, like I love Xbox, which I still do. I primarily play on Xbox, but a PlayStation is not exactly a waste of your money. It's still a good purchase, and it's and the exclusives they release are far superior to Microsoft's exclusives.
That's because you love Uncharted.
No,
No,
it's not just that. Like, I mean, Halo 4 was good. Halo 5 was terrible.
Lies.
No, I watched
fine.
it and I was like, I watched Alex play it and I was like, when he finished it, I was like, that's it? That's the end? Are you serious?
It's kind of the same reaction I had with Gears of War Judgment when I played it. I was like, oh, it's over.
Well, Gears of War Judgment was interesting in that it had like 2 different campaigns.
Yeah, I think I completed both of them in like 6 hours or something, and I was
It
like,
was short.
Oh.
Yeah, it was definitely short.
Yeah.
But I mean, I Halo 1 through 4, obviously great games. Halo 5, I love Halo 5 a lot, and for any number of reasons. And Sparks and I especially just play it tons and tons and tons. So, I mean, I guess I can understand where people would give it criticism given the end of the campaign of Halo 5, but that does not break the entirety of how great the game is overall, especially the multiplayer. I think the multiplayer is better than it's ever been.
See, the one problem I'm beginning to have is my preference when I play games now is I don't like first-person shooters at all anymore because I find them so frustrating. I can never get good at them, and they're just not my thing. That's what I'm discovering. So now I'm like turning more and more towards story games. So like Horizon Zero Dawn and Uncharted and The Witcher and all of those like really intense immerse worlds, and I can't. So every time I see a first person shooter, I'm like, I want to like it, but I don't. And I get mad.
Well, that's on you.
I know.
That doesn't make Halo a bad game. That's on you.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
For
No, it
me, it
doesn't.
makes it a bad game.
No, I agree with Jim
hate it.
there. Just because you don't like first-person shooters doesn't mean you can be like, yeah, but that one's shit.
No. I get that. But wait, what was I talking? I was talking
You're talking about exclusives, and I just want to jump in. I mean, we can steer this back towards the E3 a little bit with the hardware conversation.
I was gonna say something about someone who was like, "Oh, did you see the new Battlefront 1?" And I was like, "Battlefield 1." I was like, "Yes," and I want to like it, but I don't like first-person shooters, so I probably won't buy it.
Nah, I don't think so. I've never really been a Battlefield fan. I mean, it's interesting in that it's World War I as opposed to being, a different, something more modern. But to be honest with you, I think Call of Duty Infinite Warfare looks way better because it's military sci-fi, and I'm such a sucker for that.
Well, also too, someone I follow on Twitter, she is a history. I think she got her degree in history. She works at like some historical museum. I don't know, but she went off on about Battlefront 1 or Battlefield 1 about how historically inaccurate it is. It made me really happy.
I mean, that's certainly
She
one.
went on like a 7 or 8 tweet tangent about like, why do you have to buy the Russians? The Russians were like the most important part of World War I. Why is the French a DLC? That doesn't make sense. Like, so funny. I was reading
Target
it.
audience.
I'm like, oh, this is brilliant.
Made
me laugh. Anyway, sorry.
To E3.
Well, I was going to say that. Yeah, no, it's fine. I was going to say, I mean, the PlayStation 4 is technically more graphically powerful than the Xbox One. I mean, you can see that in like resolutions and textures, and they've proven that time and time again. So that is true. But since we're talking about hardware, I'm sure you probably have both heard about Project Scorpio, Microsoft's big new thing that they're jerking themselves off about and everybody's excited about. It's like, we're going to have the most powerful GPU that's ever been put in a console. And while that is true, they published and they said it's going to be a GPU that can process 6 teraflops of information, which a teraflop is, the flop stands for floating point operations a second. So tera is something like billion, I think, or trillion. So it can do 6 trillion floating operation points a second and calculations a second. I'm
never going to take the word seriously, though. I mean, anything that ends with flop is going to make me laugh.
What's interesting about it is it's 4.5 times the raw processing power of the current Xbox One. However, that's not necessarily going to translate into 4.5 times the amount of actual graphical power. In addition, Microsoft's going on about how it's going to be great for VR, but the GTX 980 is a graphics card that can do 9 teraflops, and it struggles with VR. So I'm suddenly less excited about Scorpio, but I'm still interested to see where it's going to end up.
Did they
Don't die.
Did they actually, because I missed most of the press conferences, everything I got was from like off IGN or something. Did they just show off like the actual like here's the score, here's the new project, and like show the console, or did they actually show any footage, like game footage from it?
They did not show the actual console itself. What they showed was a series of like black and white 3D silhouettes, for lack of a better term, and they only showed parts of a concept design, it looked like to me. So we didn't actually see the console, and we certainly haven't seen any games from it.
Okay, so it's just kind of like, it's more of a less like, here are the specs, here's what we're working on. We actually don't have to have it to show it to you, but type thing.
Yeah, I think in the podcast I did, said that it was Microsoft circle jerking itself. I think that what happened was they heard about the PlayStation Neo because that got leaked. And they were like, "Oh shit, we got to throw Project Scorpio into the E3 announcement because we know Sony's going to talk about Neo." And Sony was like, "Nope, we're not talking about the PlayStation Neo at this year's E3." And I made a comment when I was watching, or when I did the Sony recording. I said, "I'll be interested to see what the narrative is next year," because Sony was talking about how they currently have a system that can do VR with the PlayStation VR, but it also came out later that Sony said that they're not going to be coming to E3 next year, so maybe we won't have a narrative next year.
Did they say why they're not coming to E3?
I have not heard why that is.
It just makes me sad, because like it was always cool to watch everybody get together and like just be like, here's what we're working on, and now...
Maybe that's what they're sick and tired of, because I can imagine as a business, you know, every year or so they come across the same issues where they're pitted up against their rivals and they actually have to push something to better themselves in front of them. I can kind of see why they're doing it. They can just be like, okay, we're going to have our little press conference, independent of everyone else, a month later, so they can see what everyone else is doing and then work on that, you know?
It's the same shit that EA did. I mean, they had EA Play, which was not part of E3, but they lined up their press conference so it would appear like, 2 or 3 hours before Bethesda's E3 press conference.
Yeah. I don't know. EA is a bunch of scumbags, so no matter what they do, I hate them.
Do you want DLC
come
with
on.
that?
Well, when I saw that, I was looking through this when you sent out when Jim, you and I were when I was like, hey, do you have a schedule, or like, can you find a schedule? Because I was looking at the same time you were, and I found one that was like EA Play, and I was like, wait, I thought EA wasn't going to, even like the E3 schedules that I was pulling up online were putting EA Play in the E3 schedule. So I'm like, is EA there or are they not there? Or are they just trying to like throw a Tampa tantrum or something and be like, "Well, we don't like E3 anymore, but we still like the spotlight
Attention.
it puts on us.
The
So
money.
we're gonna
That's
still
what we
do
love.
it, but we're gonna do it like a block away at a Marriott." Like, what the fuck were they doing? I don't. Ugh.
We're not at E3. We're like right next to it at the same time, you know?
Mhm. And that's what it felt like. I was like, so are you guys there? Are you not there? Like, if you're not going to show up to E3, you might as well, like, if you want to do your own thing, like, wait a couple months to do it.
Or do it
Don't
half
just
a year
be
later.
like, yeah, don't just be like, well, we're not going to go, and then just sit your ass down right in front of E3.
I can imagine like E3 is a person that's got their arms folded, throwing a tantrum in the corner of the room, being like, "I'll have my own thing. It's going to be so
Yeah.
much better than yours."
Yeah, like a 2-year-old. Like,
Yeah.
meh. That's how I saw it when they did that.
Just you wait and see.
It made me really annoyed.
I'm going to
like,
make
really
this game
annoying.
entirely DLC, and then you'll see. You'll see how much money I can make.
Oh,
We're going to call it
They-
episodic, and you're just going to pay per mission.
They
What's that? You want an assault
totally
rifle in this
would.
FPS? Well, tough shit.
Tough shit. You have to pay $4.99 for it because they totally would too. That's the crappy part.
To be honest, I don't know who's worse, EA or Konami at the moment. I hope you like those pachinko machines, assholes. Getting rid of Hideo Kojima like that was the stupidest business decision ever.
Did you see the picture that came out? It was like the next day somebody had seen Hideo Kojima. He was drinking out of a coffee mug, and on the side of the mug, written in Japanese, it said Konami's tears.
It was so good. I think I actually liked and retweeted it. It was so funny to see it.
Wait, is that the guy when they... I'm so like distant from Sony drama. I don't know what's going on. But the guy who announced the other game, who like he came out like a rock star and he said 2 sentences. Was that the guy who got fired from Konami?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was like, why is everyone freaking out? I feel like I should know this guy because that was like the one section of the Sony's press conference I saw. Like I logged on to Twitch right as that happened. I'm like, I should know this guy. Why do I not know? Oh, is it that guy?
Well, Hideo Kojima, he created stuff like Metal Gear Solid. You know, he basically saved Konami's ass a few times. And then they got rid of him. or
Why'd
they
they get rid of him?
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't even know if they 100% got rid of him or if it was one of these business decisions where they were just making his life a living hell. And he just went, you know what, enough of this crap. You know? But yeah, that guy has like infinite respect from me for continuing creating games and stuff, you know?
Well, he's so important in the industry. I feel like that he has to be respected. And even Sony themselves said, not at the actual main press conference, but later in that week, one of the Sony executives said that it would be unwise to constrain Hideo Kojima's creativity.
Oh yeah, he's so like. I mean, his actions speak louder than my words could because he's done so much for gaming.
So Sony's like, you know what? If Konami wants to fuck up, that's Konami's decision. Sony's on board.
Sony's like, we'll take him off your hands.
We'll take all that money.
Oh, quick thing. Is my microphone doing okay? Because it's got like a little feedback light and it keeps on turning off.
I don't notice anything.
Sounds fine to me.
Okay, it's freaking me out because it's like it shouldn't be able to hear me when it goes off. And apparently it's doing fine, so that's good. Sorry, technical things, audience. Technical things.
Nice.
So I got a question for y'all. Y'all, Christ.
Y'all.
Jim, I talk to you too much.
Y'all.
Who do you reckon?
Who you reckon?
Oh my god.
Okay, actually, no, I'm not going to go with who do you reckon. Last year at E3, there were some standout moments for different companies. Who do you reckon actually had the best standout moment this year? Like, who really shocked the audience? Or was there absolutely none of that this year?
Man, that's tough. I think Hideo Kojima coming out and announcing Death Stranding with Norman Reedus was probably the really big one for Sony, simply because Kojima and Reedus were both working on a new Silent Hill game with Konami, and then all that shit happened.
Yeah,
and Reedus came out and said the project's canceled. So to see that they're still doing something together is a huge thing to me.
That integrity, though.
Right, yeah, exactly. That, and then I think for the Xbox side of it, the Xbox Play Anywhere initiative is going to be the big thing from Microsoft. Since we've kind of gotten away from it, we're 5-ish days from the end of E3 or from Microsoft's press conference. Looking back on it a little bit, I'm less excited for Project Scorpio than I was at the time they announced it on Monday.
Oh, I mean, that's because they gave you all the facts and the specs, and now you've had time to actually look at what it all means, So, yeah, once it sinks in and the surprise is gone, it's kind of like, well, actually, it's not that mind-blowing anymore.
I mean, it's really not, and it had kind of been rumored that Microsoft was working on what was being called a modular console, i.e. a PC, but it's just going to be dedicated to playing games and games only. So at the time it was announced, it was exciting, but since then I've become less excited. But Xbox Play Anywhere, I think, is the big thing for Microsoft in my book.
Yeah, that's the one where play anywhere, right?
Yeah, buy it once and you get it on Windows and on Xbox, which, I mean, if that's going to be the way things are for the most part, which I'm totally okay with, that means I can stop buying Microsoft's hardware.
Yeah.
That would probably turn me into a PlayStation guy, because then I can just buy a PlayStation 4 and have my Xbox games on my PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. But then what would that do to Steam, though?
Yeah, Steam is going to get fucked if that happens.
Well, it's going to be. I don't think Steam's going to get fucked. I mean, Valve is not going to be one to lay down and die. I think that. I mean, there's such a massive purist gaming community on Steam that I don't think we have much to worry about, to be honest with you, and especially not in the near term. Games like real-time strategy games, Halo Wars 2 aside, but I'm talking about the very complex ones like Civilizations, or the very Twitch ones like StarCraft 2 that they have the big tournaments for. I think that's all going to be PC exclusive for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, because I didn't even think of Steam until, like, I don't know. Never mind. I take that back.
I mean, here's the thing: is it's got to work. That's the problem. Microsoft's talking about we're going to do Xbox Play Anywhere, and they're going to hopefully win back a lot of the Windows PC gaming market, but it has got to work out for them, and they have got to enable things because the people that are PC gamers for a variety of reasons. Mods are a huge part of that, and being able to use very unique custom hardware sets is also part of that. So having 2, 3, 4 graphics cards in your system, having a huge array of solid-state drives, having dedicated sound cards to offload some of the audio processing so that you get better graphics performance, like all of this kind of stuff feeds into what a PC gamer is. And Gears of War remastered edition that came out recently, and Quantum Break both had huge performance issues on the PC because Microsoft treated them in a great respect like Xbox games. And they're like, well, there it is. Y'all go play it and have fun. But PC gamers, oftentimes pay several $1,000s for their PC gaming computers. And they don't want to have whatever limitations Microsoft says they can have. They want to be able to put that shit to work. So that's where Microsoft's going to have to come around, and in order to make this work. That being said, Microsoft is putting a lot of the onus on the developers. They're like, well, if you want to make that work, you go for it. But I don't know if it's going to work out long term.
I can just imagine them being like, well, if you want to do it, little Timmy, you can try.
I think the ability to make this work, make this like crossplay initiative work, it's going to take respect and understanding and time, not just from Microsoft sides, but from gamer side as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, as a gamer, you can't, if something's not going to go right the first try, especially with something like this, because this is a big initiative, and this is more than just, oh, we're throwing like you just said, Jim, this is more than just throwing a bunch of games to be able to be played on a PC. So I think gamers in themselves have to Microsoft not only has to respect the gamers, but the gamers are going to have to be able to turn around and be like, hey, this is what's not working. Hey, this is the problem. And treat it like an actual conversation between the two instead of
console wars.
Instead of console wars, instead of just like, when something doesn't go right, going onto Steam or Reddit or wherever and like putting your caps locks on and just bitching the person out or bitching the company out, because that's not going, I mean, this is me thinking really idealistic, but like that's not going to help anything. But I think there needs to be a legitimate conversation between both of them that, you know, Microsoft needs to have its ear open to the community, and the community needs keep its ears open to Microsoft and like to make this work, because otherwise it's not going to work. It's going to fail miserably.
Yeah, this is I'm sorry, Tyler. I'm going to cut you off real quick here for this.
That's fine.
Microsoft has the unique issue of that. You talked about the console wars. Microsoft has essentially two consoles, the Windows gaming environment and the Xbox environment. So they've got to bridge that gap, and it's two very different audiences. I mean, the Xbox, the PlayStation 4, any console, any gaming console, is effectively an appliance. You take it home, you stick it under your television, and away you go. PC gaming is something much more personal. You have custom mice, you have custom speaker setups, custom keyboards, you have very specific monitors with variable refresh rates and high resolutions and high dynamic range contrasting, all kinds of crazy shit like that just doesn't happen on consoles, at least not yet. So Microsoft they've got their work cut out for them, and in some ways, Microsoft is not only competing against Sony, they're competing against themselves.
Yeah, that could be very difficult to deal with. But I kind of have to say, like, as well as the fact, like, some people spend more than their cars on some of these PCs that they use to game. And it's crazy to think, you know, how are they going to draw this gap between very restricted, limited games that have to come out for consoles and things that are potentially like unlimited, you know, depending on what, you know, you have. Like, for right now, I don't really care, because it's like my PC gaming at the moment is shit, because I have a laptop.
Well, I think that's the next thing that needs to come into consideration, because Jim, you're talking about one end of the spectrum, like two very different ends of the spectrums, but then you have people who exist within the middle who are just like, yeah, I'm a gamer, but either A, I don't have the time to put into building my own custom computer, so I just have like a basic gaming laptop or a basic gaming computer, or to the people who are like, I want a game, but I don't have the money to put into it, because as you said, building a gaming computer is no way cheap, and it's something I want to do, but I know I won't be able to do it for the next 5 or 6 years just because of other things and other obligations that will take all my money first. So you have the two ends of the spectrum, but then you also have to look at the middle of the spectrum, who are people who are going to love this, who are going to love the fact that they're going to be able to play on their console and on their laptops, and we have to remember that they exist too, and not just the people who are just like the people who use their console as an appliance compared to the people who spend thousands of dollars on their laptops, who are able to spend that time and energy to try and make a game perfect and try to get the frame rate and the sound system, everything working to the person who likes PC gaming but doesn't have the time and gets frustrated when they try to figure that out. Hence me. I'm speaking toward my Witcher experience on my PC. I can't get the damn thing to run right.
That being said, I know there's going to be some people in the audience that come from like the PC side of gaming that are going to be like, it's really not that expensive anymore. But on the other hand, I know some PC gamers myself that they're like, yeah, if you want something standard, it doesn't cost too much. And then I actually look at their setup, and it's like fuck. Like
Yeah, right.
they spent like a good amount of money because they don't want the standard. They want the fucking best, and they want as much power as they can get in it. Which made it incredibly hilarious for me when you guys remember TDB Tom, right?
Yes.
It made me laugh my ass off when he was bragging about his gaming computer that he built. And this was when I had my piece of shit laptop, the one that kept on overheating.
Oh,
He I remember years ago he was bragging about how good it was, and it fucking it burnt out. It completely died after
Really?
It died after maybe 3 months because he overpowered it. I don't know what he did. Don't even ask.
Overclocked it too much.
Overclocked it. Yeah, that's probably the term. And I just sat there and I looked at him and I looked back at my laptop that is now dead. And at the time, it had been running for a year while it was constantly overheating. And I was like, man, I don't know. You spent a lot of money on that computer and I got this piece of shit over here. At least it still fucking works.
You have to be smart. You have to be smart with it because
you need to know the limitations before you invest.
Definitely.
Well, yeah. I kind of want to talk to that because you mentioned there's people that are kind of the middle of the road, and believe it or not, I'm getting to that. I'm pretty much at that point in my life where that's me. I mean, I want to play my PC games, and I would ideally play them using Xbox Live and the multiplayer experience because it is, in my opinion, by far the best multiplayer experience out there. It has the easiest tools, the best community, and I just enjoy the shit out of it. And I'm the guy who would be just 100% fine if I could just play my Xbox games on my PC. But I speak in the fashion that I understand where people come from on both sides of the spectrum because I have built those insane computers. I actually have one here. I don't really use it right now, but I have one here that I had 2 graphics cards in that was, at the time that I bought it, Intel's highest-end CPU that I overclocked the hell out of. I had 3 solid-state drives in it. So I know what that life is on both ends of the spectrum. But I'm at the point where I'm I have a pretty decent Alienware laptop that's worked fine for me, and it's going to continue to work fine for me. And it plays games better than my Xbox does. If I could just play my games on my Alienware, I'd be happy. And that's really where I want to be.
Yeah.
That is the future. But talking about the future, I kind of want to bring it a little bit back towards E3. I heard that there was a Final Fantasy 15 VR. Is that true?
And there is a Final Fantasy 15 VR component. The whole game is on VR.
What happened there?
I was trying to move my coffee so I didn't spill. Continue.
I can just imagine Final Fantasy 15 being fucking crazy as a virtual reality game. Monsters jumping up at you and stuff. But obviously I don't know the full capabilities of what's going on. If it's just a little component of it, I can't imagine it's through the whole game.
Yeah, it looks like it's just a component, and there's a couple reasons I say that. Based off of what they showed in the little trailer that they showed, you don't play as the main character. You're playing as somebody else, like a member of the main character's little party who dual wields pistols. In addition, there's no component for that on the Xbox, or as far as I know, on the PC side of it. If I think they're coming out with 15 on the PC eventually, but not in the near future. So it's kind of that thing where it's there's a component there, but it's not the main game itself.
Of course, they had to do this on a Final Fantasy game that does not have any female characters. At the moment that I've seen in the main party. There's going to be Sid.
She's not in the party, but I mean, she looks pretty important to me.
Yeah. I wonder how long they're going to keep the Sid thing going.
I feel like they should do that forever. I mean, Chocobos and Sid and Wedge are the 3 things that are in Muggles.
Muggles, yeah.
Muggles. I keep wanting to say Muggles because it's fucking stupid Harry Potter. Muggles are the staples of every Final Fantasy series. And then you have things like the Ultimate Weapon, of course. So that's always in there.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's just going to be weird, you know. I would love to have a virtual any RPG that's kind of virtual reality. But the fact that someone said it was 15, and when I was reading through the highlights, I was like, "There's no way. There's no way that this could have a VR. Like, not throughout the whole game. I can imagine a lot of people being strapped to their virtual reality stuff, you know, just like Sword Art Online for a little while, you know? They're not going to come out until they complete it. That was Sony's announcement, I believe. And I know that Luis is excited because Sony announced Crash Bandicoot's getting remade. The good Crash Bandicoots are getting remade, I should say.
Yeah, I think it was the first 3, they said.
Yeah. The one disappointment about that was Crash Team Racing wasn't involved, which I think I've actually gone on the record and said is one of my favourite games out there, like full stop. It's a shame they didn't want to mention that at all, but I'm so glad that they're paying attention to the original series again.
Hey, did you guys hear what other game CD Projekt Red announced this year?
No?
Gwent will be a game. I'm so excited. I already signed up for the closed beta in September.
It's funny seeing like I don't know too much about Vic's gaming habits, but she'll eventually suddenly start fangirling about something, and then I'm like, oh, yep, there it is. Now I know what she's into. I haven't heard about Gwent. What is it?
Okay, so sorry, my nose. Within the Witcher 3, there's a card game called Gwent. And you actually have a lot of missions or like quests that involve building your decks and things like that within the game. And it became so popular that CD Projekt Red is now making it a standalone game, and awesome. there's an RPG factor to it. So there's like a single player story mode, and then there's multiplayer where you can build your deck and play against other people. And the release trailer was really cool because what they did was they just got everybody who because they've CD Projekt Red actually hired cosplayers who would specifically cosplay like all the different characters within the game. So their release trailer was like all their cosplayers going to go play Gwent, and their Instagram was so funny because they just had they had like at E3, which I was so jealous, they had a giant booth where not only you could play the game because they showed it off, but they actually had the physical form of Gwent because they've released 4 decks from the physical form of Gwent, which I have 2 of the decks. I'm waiting for my other 2 to come through, to come in from the Blood and Wine expansion. So
Jim,
it's cool. It looks really good.
Jim, if they ever decided to release Triple Triad from Final Fantasy VIII, you and me have to play something like that.
I mean, and this is the thing, and I get so much shit for this, I like Tetramaster more. I do.
That's bollocks. Sorry about my dog in the background, by the way.
Dog is an asshole. What?
Yeah,
shut up, dog. Kill it with fire.
Oh, wait, Doug.
Yeah, Triple Triad, when I was playing it, I think I doubled the length of that game just playing the cards on there. I'm going to see what the dog is barking at. One sec, I'll be right back.
What is this dog doing?
Gwent looks interesting, and then Grand Old Games just came out with The Witcher 3 this past week for $25. So I went ahead and bought that. So I'm going to eventually at some point play The Witcher 3, I guess, because my cousin has is peer pressuring me and geek shaming me because I haven't played it.
You should. You really should. It's such a good game. I like it a lot. I was just checking my email for something. No, it's a really good game. Just if you figure out how to run it on your gaming laptop, can you let me know? Because I bought it when it was on sale on Steam where like you could get the game itself plus the 2 expansion packs for $49, which is not bad.
Yeah, that's what the sale they have going on right now. But I bought just the main game, and I looked at the reviews, and it seems like Blood and Wine is the best of the expansions, the DLCs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll play the main game, and if I really like it, then I'll get Blood and Wine later.
I would still recommend playing Hearts of Stone, because Hearts of Stone is really good. But I'm like halfway through Blood and Wine right now. I'm taking my sweet damn time with it because I don't want it to end. But Blood and Wine is definitely the better one. But Hearts of Stone is like more of it's kind of more of like a mystery type thing. Blood and Wine it's a little bit more straightforward. And you can tell in Blood and Wine that it's the last expansion and Geralt's last adventure, just how they're setting it up. And it breaks my heart every time. I maybe that's why it's taking me so long to play through it, because I don't.
It's not like you're about to cry.
I don't want it to end. I really don't. I don't want it to end.
Welcome back.
Very sad.
I'm just going to have to quickly apologise to the audience because I don't have my sound pack disabled. So when I went away, it was loudly exclaimed, "See you soon."
Nice
which
job.
can be very confusing if you're listening to this.
Did I? Oh my god.
I've got another kind of E3-ish related question. What was the most cringeworthy moment of the
entirety of AMD's PC gaming show?
Really? Well, why was it particularly cringeworthy?
It was they had a guy in a suit sitting on a stage having staged interviews with game developers. Like, it didn't even sound natural. It sounded like all the lines were rehearsed except for Cliffy B a little bit. And the camera quality was piss poor. It seriously looked like it was out of the 80s.
It's so funny seeing businesses try to market people to this kind of demographic. It's like they don't really know what to fucking do sometimes.
Well, it's like AMD is the PC gaming underdog. You know, yeah. They're behind Intel and CPUs. They're behind NVIDIA and graphics processors. So they're trying to compete. So I understand they don't have the budget that the other major players are, and I understand they're like trying to push like a PC-centric life because that's where they make their money. I mean, they have licensing deals with Sony and Microsoft, of course, for their consoles, but they get the vast majority of their money from direct sales and through OEM partnerships with PCs. So I understand why they would volunteer to push the PC gaming market. They just do it in such a uninteresting way. I mean, the stage she was sitting on was pretty much blank, except it looked like it had, I honest to God don't know what else to call, how to describe it, but it looked like the electrical fencing from Jurassic Park, except it was all spray painted bright red.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like, it was just really, I don't know, it was just stupid. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, some people just don't understand how to do it right. Hey, I've been supporting AMD though. Apparently my laptop's got their graphics card in it.
I mean, that's good. I mean, you know, we have to, because we've seen what the market is without AMD. I mean, Intel just released a new CPU, which is a very powerful CPU, but it's like $1,700, you know, and it's just like, there's no competition for Intel at the high end, so they're just out, you know, releasing outrageous shit at this point.
Yeah. Anything we can, just try and catch up. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I get it in one way, but at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, you got to do better than this, AMD.
Definitely. Well, at least it sounds this year that there was a lot less, like in general, like, I don't know, padding, if that's the right word to use, because I remember the last few years I have been caught up and watching it live. This year has been a bit difficult with an actual job, and time zones are cruel to me, you know. Yeah, I remember a few years back it was stuff like people were interviewing, like E3, EA were like interviewing Pele for like half an hour before announcing yet another FIFA game. And though as a football fan, that was interesting. As a gamer, I couldn't care less. I could sit there and watch a documentary about Pele for, hours, but that's not why I'm watching the press conferences, like, as much as I do like Pele and football and stuff like that, I kind of want to see what makes your God knows how many versions worth of FIFA, whatever sequel this would be, different to your last set. And in all honesty, it's getting harder and harder to see any differences with their sports games.
Well,
it
yeah,
really is.
This was brought up in the EA podcast that we did. That for Madden and FIFA both, EA is adding in a bunch of additional game modes, and they're giving FIFA 17 this whole story mode where you play as a character named Alex Hunt, and so it's kind of like, I guess for me it just comes down to, I think this is what I said in that podcast, is that the sports themselves haven't changed so much, and if you go back to like Madden 2010 and you'll have basically the same football mechanics as you do if you play Madden 2015. So, and it's the same thing with FIFA because soccer just hasn't changed that damn much. So they have to do other stuff to try to get you to buy back into the new game. You gotta buy the new game, so that they introduce things like tournament mode, and they have a new single player,
I definitely have to say something about that, though. I'm going to call them out on this bullshit, because I remember a few years ago, they took tournament mode out of the games. So it's not something new. They've just put it back. And I was so pissed off when they done that, because I remember that's roughly when I stopped buying them. Because I was like, the whole reason why I played FIFA was to sit down, maybe for like a spare half an hour, and be like, hey, a little knockout tournament. I can select a bunch of teams from the international level and get them to play against each other for a laugh. And then they took that away, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I know as a business, they can't measure the level of success that was at, because it wasn't exactly something you did online. That you
they weren't monetizing it. This is the thing. And because esports... Right, and because esports has become so popular now, I mean, everybody's got some sort of game or some kind of a component that they're adding in for esports. I mean, even Microsoft has started doing that now. That's what one of the new Xbox Live updates is. You can go and do like community tournaments and shit like that. So it's becoming such a big deal. It's going to be a huge moneymaker. So it's going to be, what the NFL is for professional football. It's going to be EA and Microsoft and Sony are going to have these individual tournament and esports leagues. That's going to be cash cows for the gaming industry.
MOG? Yeah, I can imagine that. I'm kind of glad that this year it's been relatively calm and not embarrassing. It's not a repeat of... who was it that year that had a very bad panel? Like, it was just really awkward. I want to say that it was fucking Konami.
Probably.
I think it was.
Was that last year or 2 years ago? They had... Oh, no, was it Square or Square Enix?
I remember Square had a lackluster one because I remember Sony gave away like all the big surprises in their one, and then Square Enix had theirs the next day. It was like, you kind of ruined the surprise.
Yeah, I don't think that was last year. I think that was 2 years ago, because I think Sony had a pretty good year last year, if I recall. But Square Enix, like, having never done an E3 press conference, all of their speakers were Japanese, which is nothing against them, but English is obviously not their first language. So they struggled a lot with trying to like describe the games and build up excitement for it, because they couldn't bring that enthusiasm that Western speakers can bring to a Western audience. Yeah, and so it's nothing against them. It's just a different culture and not being a native language barrier. So that's why I think Konami came out, or Hideo Kojima came out and said 2 sentences and then walked off the stage.
Well, he could have just come out and just stood there and left, and it would have been the best part of E3.
Probably.
Just saying.
My dog's barking again, for crying out loud. But yeah, like, one of the things I was thinking of before people go, oh yeah, you can't say that. It's pretty much the equivalent of us trying to hype up a Japanese game in Japan it would be very awkward.
Without
and
us
forced.
speaking Japanese.
Yeah, like we would be very difficult. Like we probably would suck at it, even if we knew the language. It's not the smartest move. Hey, my dog was quiet.
Oh, yay.
I don't know why the dog today, of all days, is having a go at birds in the sky.
Because they're very interesting and he wants to play with them.
Yeah.
When I come visit, I'll give your dog a little treat.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm eating a sweet. I'm very professional today. It's going to be weird.
Right.
In a few months, Vic might be seeing me.
Yes, no, I will be
Witcher
seeing
3.
you. That's all I'll do. Forget that I'm in another country, whatever.
That's going to be weird. Should I get a PlayStation 4 so you can play Witcher?
No. No, I'm going to go a month without playing video games. That's my plan.
After having E3 podcast, you're like, I'm just going to have a month without playing any games.
This is it.
Yeah, that's
I'm not even going to look
like
at
in
Steam.
August, though. That's like in August, though, so I got some time.
That's not a thing that you're doing for, like, I know it's way out of time, but that's not something you're doing for Lent, is it? You're like,
No.
I'm going to give up playing
Lent
games.
is over.
Yeah, Lent's been over for a while, number one. Number two, no. 'Cause that's like my thing I do when I don't want to talk to anybody or my family. I just sit and play video games.
Preach.
I wish I could do that a little bit more, but my console's downstairs and my room is upstairs.
This is why you get in a relationship with someone who has their own place and you just hide all your shit there. So that when you're up there on the weekends, you can do whatever you want without getting yelled at.
That being said, I don't think I'll be on many podcasts. If you catch my drift.
Oh, why? Because you'll be having sex?
I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm actually shocked that was your response, because normally you're just like, you get like really
bashful.
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, it's a bit different sometimes, you know. It's like, yeah, okay, if you make an assumption about something, I'll get embarrassed and bashful and this, that, and the other. But if you outright say something like that, that pretty much is going without saying that that's going to happen. You know? The audience probably doesn't want to hear about this.
Play video games? No, I get laid. What are you talking about?
Bachelor in more ways than one.
That's kind of sad.
Hey, like, honestly, some real talk here. I actually don't mind, like, being single for as long as I've been, because it's like I'm saving up to go to Texas next year. You know, if I was in a relationship,
you have to spend money on your girlfriend.
Yeah, just saying.
It's expensive.
It can be very expensive.
Alright, I keep that in mind. Girlfriends are expensive. I will keep in mind never to get a girlfriend then.
Jeez. I'm so glad Alex can't hear you.
No, because I'm house sitting. So he ain't here. I'm all alone. I just got
There's
this
no
dog.
one here beside you?
There's a dog, but she's sleeping.
Yeah, she's more well behaved than my one at the moment. I don't know why she's freaking out.
She's also like 12 years old. An old pup.
I'm going to get my dog indoors before she pisses off the neighbours. It'll be 1 second.
All right.
And Tyler's super professional today. I think we should kick him off the podcast.
Probably would be best.
Yeah, best for everyone. Forget the fact he edits everything.
Oh God, no, we can't do that because we can't have me editing everything. I refuse. This week has been nuts. I refuse to edit these on a regular basis.
It's a great idea.
No.
Yeah, let's do it.
Not for me.
I like want to offer to help, but the problem is like I don't have any of that stuff to do it with. I just have a basic laptop. That's it. That makes sense.
Yep. You and your basic bitch computers.
Just what? I'm basic. Don't call my computer a basic bitch.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what computer you have.
I have a Republic of Gamer Asus computer. Asus. Got a Intel Core i7, 3 gigs, whatever that means. And it has a Windows 8 sticker on it, but
I'm back.
Shout out to that, because I don't have Windows 8 anymore.
Windows 10 for the win. If
I actually
you're from
like-
Windows 8.
I actually like Windows 10 a lot.
Here's my opinion on Windows 10, yeah? If you've got
What?
Windows 7, there's no point. Windows 7's pretty good. If you've got Windows 8,
7 is good.
if you got 8 or 8.1 or whatever that other one was, go to 10, but change it around so... you know the panel you used to start off with? Like, it's got the big squares and rectangles all over the place. I couldn't deal with that, so I found a way to just send it back to the desktop. So it looks just like Windows 7 again.
Yeah,
and it's been doing well.
Windows 8, when I had Windows 8 before I upgraded, I never used the tile thing. I always had it on the desktop. Every once in a while, though, I would accidentally, like, click the stupid thing in the corner that would send you to the tile. You're like, damn it! No, go back. Abort mission.
It essentially does the same job, but it's like, no, I don't want this. You know, go away.
It was nice because I also had like a small tablet, like a touchscreen tablet that I used to take notes on when I was in class or when I'd go to the library. I'd use it. That was more my school computer, and when that was fine. Like that whole tile thing was actually great if it was touch. But my gaming laptop is not a touch screen.
Yeah, so it's pointless.
So it was absolutely pointless. I was like, why the fuck do I have this? I don't need it. But my school laptop now is a touch screen, and it's great with Windows 10, actually. It's pretty nice. Great when I'm reading fan fiction, because then what I do is instead of like scrolling with my down key, I just scroll with my finger, and I'm like, so much easier.
to be honest, like that's pretty much me. I have to read it like stuff like that on my iPod now, just so I can scroll with my finger.
Yeah.
How did we get from E3 to this?
I don't know.
I was about to say, I was like, I don't know where this is going.
I don't know. It's us. When does anything ever go right with us?
Jim's sitting there like, I was here talking about E3, and then she started talking about fanfics.
That's... What?
It's all Vic's fault. It rhymes.
How is this all my fault?
Well, your name rhymes with fanfic, so that happens. Fanvic.
That's stretching it. That is so stretching it.
It works, damn it. Hashtag
no.
that.
Hashtag no, it doesn't.
Thinking of ways to add this as a hashtag as you're talking.
Can we, you know what, when I release this podcast next week, the hashtag will be hashtag no, it doesn't. I don't know where we're going with this.
I mean,
I feel like we're winding down.
We can wrap, but this is what happens when we say, there's going to be no questions. You don't know a satisfying way to finish it.
Thanks for the chat, guys. Thanks for listening in. That's it.
The user has left your channel.
Yeah, bye.
I've pretty much with these E3 podcasts, I've pretty much been closing up with, all right, guys, that's all I've got. Take care.
Yeah.
And that's it. I end it.
That's fair.
For me, I kind of want to give a question to the audience and it's gonna be E3 related, which is like what got you most excited this time round? Simple question.
You win extra points if you say Gwent.
Don't listen to Vic. Just because she likes Gwent doesn't mean everybody's gonna like Gwent.
Everyone should like Gwent. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So I guess so Gwent is obviously Vic. Mine personally, I'm Titanfall 2, Mass Effect Andromeda were the big ones for me, and Horizon Zero Dawn are the three that I am definitely most interested in.
Okay, Gwent, yes, I'm very interested in, but Horizon Zero Dawn took the cake for me, so I'm with you.
Oh, Vic took the cake.
I did take the cake. Why do you think I'm so fat?
Move, fatty.
All right, sorry.
This is where I say, my favourite part of the E3 experience was knowing that there is going to be another FIFA. They might as well not announce it. Like every year, like clockwork, they can release the same game with different transfers. It's going to come out.
It's like Call of Duty.
Yeah. Well, at least they can add subtle differences.
That's true.
Like different areas, different weapons. And this, it's like... I know some fans are going to yell at me and say it's not the same, but take yourself away from the games for a little while and then play the old ones. If you can play them almost identically and still be good at both of them, then it's pretty much the same game. That argument can be used for Call of Duty, so that's falsified right there. I don't know. I was just excited to see a decent E3 this year from what I did catch of it.
Yeah, it was definitely a good E3.
Nothing caught my eye and is like out of the top blew my mind. Like nothing stole the show for me. But I'm more than happy with some of the new games that got released. Like the one we keep on talking about that Hideo Kojima brought out and stuff. Like there's new series that seem to be coming out and a lot less of these sequels that are kind of predictably going to be there every year. Unless I totally missed out on EA's. God damn, I always get that mixed up, E3 and EA. Unless I may have slept during EA's part of it and missed half a dozen sequels.
Probably did.
Yeah. Oh.
The one thing I will say is that it was really funny to kind of see the difference between Sony's and Microsoft's press conferences, not in what they like talked about, but how they were staged. Like Microsoft was very like classy, straight lines, really like very Microsofty, I guess I live in the area of Microsoft, so I live like 15 minutes away from Microsoft's main campus.
This design is so Microsofty.
So it just like if you looked at Microsoft's press conference and then you went to like the Microsoft's campus in Redmond, you would be like, you would know what I mean. Like it was
the
very
branding?
Microsoft, huh?
The branding is kind of the same, like the style.
It's like. There's the
they dress like they're branding.
No,
they wear green shirts.
The spaces that they work in very much like kind of what that press conference looked like. Very open, very modern, straight lines, like very much kind of this like modern
aesthetic. Got it.
Yeah,
that's
that they're
the
going
word.
for. And then Sony was loud music, live orchestra, big sounds, bright lights. And I was like, oh, rock band, classy old person.
Yeah, Sony was, when they started with a live orchestra, which is like, there's always that kind of thing of like, oh, it's a live orchestra. But then it's also like, what in the fuck does this got to do with video games?
Yeah, I know. I was watching it and I was like, why do they need a live orchestra for this?
Unless they suddenly broke down into One Winged Angel halfway through from, Final Fantasy VII.
Well, it's because they did a lot of things with it, but the big opening, like, orchestral, I guess, I don't know, whatever the big... a word besides opening. Whatever the big opening orchestra, like, song was, it was a lead-in to God of War 4.
Oh...
Yeah, so they kind of played the live orchestra off of what they were announcing, which was kind of cool. So, like, that was cool. But I think my favorite part of of Sony's press conference was the violinist who totally missed the cue to stop. Because at one point, I'm sitting there, I'm watching it.
Wow.
And you see the conductor just kind of, he gives I can't remember the term, but he goes to get them to stop. And you hear this violinist just go, and I'm like, wait, what?
It's a little slow.
I swear you could hear the violinist like throw his violin, like, oh God, fucked up.
There's no fixing that as well.
And
you can't play it off.
At the end of it, it's going to be like, God damn it, Franklin! Next time, I tell you to cut your fucking gut.
Well, and what I wasn't. So the thing what brought it up to me was like I was on my phone. I was kind of looking at it, and when I saw the conductor go to stop, I was like, okay. So I went back to my phone. I was looking at Twitter, and then all of a sudden I hear the violin, and I look up. I'm like, that was not planned.
Saying about like how
so funny.
Saying about how PlayStation like opened up their games and stuff like that with the orchestra. One of the smartest ways I've ever seen something like that done for announcements and stuff was Nintendo, but it wasn't for E3. It was for the championships that they did a little while ago. I think it was just Nintendo World Championships they called it or something. But to announce what game the contestants had to play, the whole stage would go to black. You know, nothing would be on the stage, and on the TV monitor there would be nothing. It would just be black. And when the audience go quiet, suddenly like a sound effect from that game would play, and then like the audience would just erupt because they just figured out what it is. You know, it could be something obvious. It could be something really like explicitly well known if you knew that series. But it would be stuff like, you know, the Mario Kart. Like when you go through a box in Mario Kart, the little sound effects you get from that, like that would happen. And everyone just goes, oh, they figured it out. And there would be an explosion on the screen and the logo for the game they're going to play. They need to do more E3 stuff like that when they're dealing with like sequels and big releases. Like, can you imagine PlayStation being like playing the Chocobo theme very subtly in the background? When people finally catch on to what they're about to announce, they like dubstep it up and explosions go everywhere, and they show Final Fantasy's logo and what they're actually going to do with it. I don't know. I think it's definitely a better way of working it. You know, letting the audience interact in a way. You know, stopping everything and letting them guess. Now we're done.
Now we're done.
Can you get out? Okay. Sorry.
Vic.
That has nothing to do with video games.
No. Dog was trying to get on couch, and I wanted to make sure she could get up. Got really bad joints. She was like whining at me. I'm like, can you do it?
Poor puppy.
She's so cute, though. She hasn't left the room since I've been here. The cat just comes and goes and glares, scratches furniture.
You don't like cats?
Hit or miss.
Evil.
They like cats for some reason love me, but I'm whatever about cats. I like Odin. Odin's my only like cat I absolutely love to the bottom of my heart. That's Alex's cat, which funny story. So yesterday I go to Alex's apartment, and the weather here has been the temperature changes here have been insane. Like beginning of the week it was 80 degrees, and then it's dropped down to like 60. I think those weather changes got the dog and the cat, Alex's dog and cat, sick. So I go to his apartment, and there's crap everywhere. Like cat vomit all over. Dog got sick in the bedroom.
Feces everywhere.
It was awful. So I literally spent an hour, and Alex had gotten up that morning and actually had spent 45 minutes cleaning, and then I spent another hour cleaning. So I cleaned everything up, got everything together, and I was using this like vacuum thing to get some of the animal excrements off the clean it up off the carpet, and I had to run it like 3 or 4 times, and it scared Odin into the bathroom closet. So I found him in the bathroom closet.
Shit some more.
And I'm like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, Odin. Okay, you just stay here. I'm gonna clean up. Just stay. You're fine." I forget he's in the closet, so I go and decide, okay, I'm gonna vacuum up the bathroom. And I forget he's in the closet. I shut him in the closet, and then I start vacuuming the bathroom. And I'm like, when I'm done, I'm like, wait, where's Odin? oh shit, Odin's in the bathroom closet. Open up the bathroom closet. I found him cowering in the litter box. Like, eyes just wide open. Like, what did you do, lady? It took me 10 minutes to coax him out of the litter box.
You are evil.
I was like, I'm so sorry, Odin.
I love it. Tyler's like, oh, like Vic is evil. I'm like, that dog sounds like a bitch. I wouldn't want that dog.
It's a cat.
It's a cat.
Oh, was that a kid? Oh, I really thought
cat.
Odin was a dog. My bad.
No,
I was not
Odin's
paying
the
attention.
cat. Fenris is the dog. Fenris was
it.
outside
Okay.
on the porch. Like when I was
the naming
cleaning.
scheme.
In that case, yes, Vic, you are evil.
Yeah, so I took Fenris and put him out on the porch because, keep him away from everything so I could clean up. Odin's not an outdoor cat, so I had to keep him inside. And he doesn't like the vacuum cleaner. So yeah, I scared him into the litter box. I felt like a dick. And he wouldn't talk to me. And then Alex came home.
He wouldn't answer any of my messages.
No, I was
He
like
blocked
trying
me
to
on
get
He
him.
never
Snapchat.
texted me back.
I was like, Odin, come here, and he just booked it. But then, of course, when Alex comes home, he immediately comes up to Alex and I and goes, meow, meow, meow. I'm like, oh my god, I hate you.
Goes straight up to Alex and is trying to tell him that, hey, this human lady here locked me in the closet.
And then used the vacuum cleaner outside the closet.
Grassing on you in meow speak.
Oh, well, I told Alex, I was like, yeah, I'm an asshole. I locked your cat in the bathroom closet and then vacuumed up around it.
Damn.
He was like, oh, Odin will get over it. He's fine.
I mean, it's got the name Odin. It'll be okay.
He'll be fine. Well, you want to know why Odin was named Odin?
And kids, we have moved on to the adulting part of the podcast.
No. Because Alex got Fenris first, and Fenris is a Nordic god for Fenrir. And in Nordic mythology, Fenris eats Odin. So we're kind of waiting for Fenris to eat Odin.
Huh.
Yeah, we're just kind of sitting
That
waiting
is
for...
actually funny.
Yeah, that's why Alex named the cat Odin. He was like, Fenris, what should I name this cat? Ooh, Odin. So far, there has been no attempts from Fenris to eat Odin. Just Fenris gets up and moves every time Odin comes near him. So I think it's going to be Odin eats Fenris in this case.
I don't think there's going to be any eating.
I don't know. Maybe one day.
Anyways, I think we can call it a day.
After my assholic story, yes, of course.
I like when we end on a bad note for Vic.
Oh yeah, so she has several months to redeem herself when she comes on a podcast, like 10 episodes from now.
I see it as several months to make things worse.
No! Come on, man.
Oh, no.
Wait, what was it this morning when I messaged you guys? I was like, okay, I'm going to get gas and coffee.
Don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up. Don't worry. It was funny that you should say that. I just set my car alarm off.
Wow.
I was trying to put my sweatshirt on, and I had my keys in my hand, and my hand slipped, and I hit the alarm.
She fucked it up.
I fucked it up. And then I looked at my phone, and I see that message from Jim. I'm like, damn it.
Already too late. Things have been fucked.
Things have been fucked. That, and then I couldn't get the gasoline pump to work. It kept turning off, so I had to sit there and hold the pump, the handle, and just wait until I got to 10 gallons, and I was like, that's good enough. It's probably full. Boop. Not my day. Not my day. So yes, I have 10 weeks to fuck it up again. Is that the plan?
Well,
That sounds like it.
Okay, cool.
if you can get on other podcasts, it would be fun to have you on a podcast before I actually see you.
I will get on it. I should be on podcast smart rig.
Good.
Yes.
We totally have to think of something to record for the night shift.
Oh yeah. Speaking of the night shift, I can talk to you about it after the podcast.
Oh, cool. Until then, audience, we're getting out of here. It's way past our bedtime.
It is.
No.
It is way past our bedtime.
Vic just got up. It's like, what is it over there? Like,
It's 11:30.
exactly.
I'm old. It's nap time.
It is nap time. Yeah. Fuck. I got a weird look from the barista today because, like, I have the biggest dark circles under my eyes.
Damn, girl.
You're
Yeah.
forgiven. It's been finals.
Dude, I fell asleep watching Family Guy last night. I was watching Family Guy, passed out. 1 o'clock in the morning, Netflix is still playing Family Guy. I'm like, wait. What? Fuck. Been my day. Okay.
Jeez.
Bye.
Bye.
For the official goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Shifty Key Podcast. The intro and outro music is provided to us by our editor, TDBTyler. To get more involved with the Shifty Key Podcast, you can answer the questions for the audience asked by our guests, or even ask the cast a question of your very own, either here in the YouTube comments or in our Rooster Teeth group. To keep updated with this channel's shenanigans, you can follow us on Twitter, join and watch our group on Rooster Teeth, or simply subscribe. All links will be in the description. Until next week, goodbye.
And that's a wrap.
Dean.
What do you want to put in the Easter egg? A cough. Fantastic.
I feel like that Vic's like whole story about her animals shitting everywhere should be like the Easter egg.
It should be.
I mean,
We'll just end the E3 part of it, and then it's just animal shitting.
that would be
Like,
like
really?
a very long Easter egg.
I think, but it would be so worth it because it has nothing to do with E3.
But as I say, it doesn't matter because it's going to be the same amount of time. You're just putting it at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll think about it. I'll do whatever's easiest for me. AKA, I'll probably not touch anything. Okay, right. Ciao, 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 ciao.
Wow.
Yeah, I got to get going, kids. I got to go do the graduation stuff. So I will give you all a shout later.
All right.
Okay,
Have fun.
boys.
Bye.